What's up, yo? This your boy Solomon Childs. I'm outside, Gully TV, boy. Get him!
My man, peace.
Yes, I'll see you in a minute.
All right. This is a special feature brought to you by the real Gully TV. This gentleman I know as Grilchy Party Records. Go ahead and introduce yourself, pimp.
Spekt. People call me Marc Spekt, but I go by Spekt or Respect. That come from back in the 90s when I had dreads and everybody used to be like, respect all the dreads that was at that time.
Right.
They just supposed to respect. I took that name on. And Marc, that was a name when I gave a shorty my pager number or beeper number, I'd be like, just call me Marc. You don't ever give a shorty your real name. So
no doubt. Everywhere I go, I just did Bag Fuel, and they was asking me about the underground, and I referenced certain people who was making big money selling vinyls in the overseas market, and you are 100% one of the first people that I met. So tell me exactly what this is you have here, and give my viewers a little bit more insight on Grilchy Party Records.
it's not records. Grilchy Party is a advertising and marketing company.
Got it.
That's what I pay taxes on. That's my business.
Okay.
I don't own any of this. The artist owns their music. I come from where you were signing contracts back in the late 90s, early 2000s. A record label take all your shit,
Yeah.
and you don't own your music no more. I didn't want to do that. I'm curating art for artists. I'm helping them. So it's like, this is an art gallery. And if you have an art gallery, the painter owns their paintings, right?
Yeah.
You sell it, you may get a little percentage off of selling it, but they keep all the rights to this music. That's what keeps me way above board, and I'm only doing limited editions, so it's 250, 300 records.
Yeah. How many people do you have on the roster right now that you're working with?
I got the Buze Brothers, I got Wino Willy, Giallo Point, this kid FOHDH Matthew, who is, you'll hear more about him, but he's a super talent from Philadelphia that come from my block, around Springfield Avenue, in Southwest Philadelphia.
Okay.
That's where I originate from. But really, that's it, really. I got Sen's Beats, I got Shar the Analog Bastard, but again, I don't sign contracts with people. We do one-off deals. If you like it, we'll do another one.
Yeah. Why did the Buze Brothers become such an integral part of your movement?
Man, the Buze Brothers, I've been hearing about them since 2007 from my people that was in Philly.
Mm-hmm.
But they cavemen. You know, like Captain America was frozen in ice.
Yeah.
Him, Low, and Clever One, they never left 1992, 93. As far as stylistically, yeah, they've evolved, but they've been raw, like street. They had CDs, and that was it. They was never online. They're still not online like that.
They not. You're right.
So that's the thing. And I learned that from MF Doom. That was my label mate and my man from 1999.
Right.
I learned a bunch of things from him, which was keep yourself, your anonymity, that's your worth and value, make you way more valuable. So I always told him Low, I was like, and you know, he's an older cat, so he like, not fucking with that. He's a real lowlife. So he's been hearing shit, people beefing on Facebook. He's like, man, I'm staying away from that social media shit. So their anonymity made them larger than life, and they always had a big overseas following.
Yeah.
Never released a record. When I met them, him Low gave me 13 CDs. I said, oh, this is some shit I would have did with somebody. Like, yo, you load it up, but none of this is online, and they got people asking for a record.
Yeah.
I put out my records because I used to rhyme. So once I got distribution and respect, and people were willing to listen to me, I said, I'm gonna help them do the finer points and put a record together.
Right.
An actual album. So we did that. It's called Adabeezy Hat. In 2017,
I got
we dropped
that.
it.
Yeah.
And I said, look, if Fat Beats will pick this up and take my word and take a chance on y'all, we have some. Fat Beats took 50 CDs from me. Man, we celebrated like that was gold. We struck gold.
Yeah.
The 50 CDs went, they ordered another 50.
Yeah.
We end up selling 350 CDs. And that kind of got them in the door. Because
Right.
people have been yearning for their product.
Right.
And since then, I never met nobody at work like them.
No doubt. Was it a time when Fat Beats actually had flagship stores?
Yes. The one in New York, which I was used to going to in the 90s.
Yeah.
And then they moved out to LA or somewhere in California. But they had stores. They are hip hop.
Right.
If you went to Fat Beats in New York, man, listen, you be rhyming, you be hearing shit, you be running into all different kind of artists and shit in there.
Yeah.
It was like the hip hop mecca. and they supported me from early.
Right.
Fat Beats had my records in there from like 2001. That was my first vinyl came out.
Was that unusual that an actual store would deal with an artist coming in there basically selling art independently? Was that a different look that they
People
would?
always had consignment for different local places, but
Yeah.
Fat Beats was based off of that. You know, you had people like Thurston Howard III and all different people that was independent going and selling their work in Fat Beats.
Right.
So yeah, they was always built on independence.
No doubt.
And there was these artists called Company Flow. That's LP, that's working with Killer Mike,
Yeah.
and Big Just. Big Just is a cat who signed me in 1999.
Right. Company Flow is from Cincinnati, ain't they?
No, Company Flow is from New York.
New York? Okay.
And they were signed to Raucous. They
Okay.
were one of the first artists on Raucous.
Right.
And they broke up, and Big Just started Subverse Records, and LP started Def Jokes.
Okay.
So Big Just signed me. He came to Atlanta, and MF Doom was down here, other people, Science of Life, shout out to them. And my people was already signed to them, the Micronauts, I Self Divine. They had me open up a show for them. I tore that shit down, even though I fucked up my second verse.
Right.
But, you know, up top, you just keep rhyming, and you freestyle off the head. If you forget your bars, you just keep rhyming.
Yeah.
MF Doom came up to the stage. I didn't even know it was him. He brought me a Heineken and was like, yo, you killed that shit. I got signed on the spot. That was 1999.
No doubt.
So I had my first vinyl in 2001. Stretch and Bobbito was playing it. Or
Yeah.
Bobbito was playing that shit.
Yeah.
It was in Fat Beats. It was distributed. I did Rocksteady concert in 2001. And I had started working on the album. Towers came down, right?
Right.
And once the Towers came down, that label folded.
Okay.
I was bitter. And I was like, man, fuck the industry. So I started a group down here called Brody Champs. This cat's from the Bronx, Brooklyn, you know, down in Atlanta. You formulate with all East Coast people.
Facts.
So we started a group called Brody Champs, and we released the album in 2004. And I kept doing my thing independently.
Yeah.
I got with my man Billy Woods on Backwood Studios. They released some shit for me in 2008, 2009. I released a record called Machete Vision in 2011, and I had people like Action Bronson on there, Mayhem Loren, different cats like that.
Yeah.
So that established me. That got me critical acclaim, and I sold like 1,000 units. Fast forward to now, 2011 to 2016, 17, I said, fuck that. I'm gonna do this on my own. That's when I started Grilchy Party, 2016.
Yeah.
And I just kept going and pulling other obscure underground people under the wing. I'm not looking for artists. I get solicited every day from around the world.
Right.
Yo, listen to my music. Yo, let's do this. Would you sign me? I'm like, you don't understand what I'm doing here. Number one, I'm focused on Philadelphia. I'm giving back to my home.
Okay.
So most of the artists, 90% of all the MCs you hear is from Philadelphia. Buze Bruvaz, myself, and now Matthew. That's me giving back to where I come from.
Yeah.
So the producers like Giallo Point, he's in London, Shar is in Paris.
I've been hearing a lot about Giallo. How did you meet him?
Man, Giallo
He's running up a hell of a resume. I hear his name and all through the
Giallo
underground.
was working with the Buze Bruvaz probably like 2016, 2017.
Right.
And him, Low, and Clever One was really working with him. But him, Low reached out to him in 2019 and was like, yo, you got some beats for me. They did this project called OJ Gloves. I don't know if I ever sent you
I do got it.
That OJ Glove record went crazy. And Giallo was basically, from 2019 on to this day,
Yeah.
he's family, he's under the umbrella. He worked with everybody.
Yeah.
But he's under the umbrella of Grilchy Party because we do mad stuff. We got a record exclusive. We got a record with Giallo Point and the Buze Brothers coming in August. He produced the whole thing. It's crazy.
Of all of the records in the Buze Brothers catalog, which one is most critically acclaimed?
Negativity. That's the one that changed everything for us. That's the first vinyl I did for them.
Yeah.
Before then, I did 2 CDs. And then this is where I said, yo, I'm going to take the leap. It's an investment. It's a gamble. But I'm going to press up 200 records, 150 black and 50 infrared. We did cassettes, and the cassettes were packaged in a beer can.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I sent you that, did I?
I don't have that one.
Yeah, I mean, they sold, but the cassettes were in the bank.
You know
beer
what?
can.
I do got a cassette. I
Yeah.
do got a cassette. I do.
Right.
Tell me about that. Why did you decide to make those? What was that a novelty move?
all this is novelty news.
Yeah.
Because we're not pressing up that many. So it's a very niche market. But one of the things I learned about marketing is you gotta focus and key in on a specific niche and then blow that up and build that up.
Right.
I'm a marketing company. People be like, oh, you're a record label. Let me listen to my music. Do this, do that. I'm not no record label. I'm a marketing company. I help artists. I give them ideas. You know, a couple minutes ago, you was like, yo, I want to do this, but I don't know how to do it. And I gave you that idea. That's what I do.
Right.
For different companies and different people, you could pay me with the stuff that I'm giving to artists. People get paid thousands of dollars for it.
Yeah.
Because it's knowledge and ideas that help them to make money. So that's what I've done. I've boosted up, and let me show you this too, before I forget. This is Willy's album. This is a producer from up north, Philly, Jersey area that I met in New Orleans. I lived in New Orleans for 7 years.
Yeah.
This is a guy who had beats, but nobody was picking up on him. They'd take beats and never do nothing with them.
Right.
I'm talking 2018, 2019, and I always told him stay close.
Right.
So he would do shit for me like take records to the mailbox for me or come through and just chop it up with me. And I said, dude, you're talented and I can't get to you now, but when I get to you, that's when I'm stay close to me.
Right.
He did an album and a song called Iverson with him low. That took off for him. And I said, I'm gonna help market you. This is a cat, he couldn't get no callbacks. Nobody was reaching out for a Willy beat. He didn't have a name like that.
Yeah.
We helped to blow him up, and now everybody reaching out to him. He's working with literally everybody.
Right.
And he's got a record coming out next month with this dude named Matthew, F-O-H-D-H Matthew. These are two young, talented cats. Matthew is supremely talented. After we get off this, I'll let you hear a couple songs from him. But
Yeah.
young cat from Philly, he's maybe 30 now, but he grew up during the DVD era. So he's current. And another thing I learned is, if you want to have your longevity, you got to focus on bringing the youth up.
Facts.
Because if you focus on bringing a certain youth up and helping to nurture them and help to push them forward, they'll push everything forward.
Yeah.
Because they're the future.
Lifeblood.
Exactly. So I put them together in 2020, helped to curate a record. Matthew, he's the streets. So he's been in trouble. He's been locked up, get caught with burners. Philly.
Yeah.
The regular story. But I said there's something special about this kid. And he stayed close, he stayed dedicated. And now he got a record coming out. They finished the album. It's a masterpiece.
Yeah. Who have you relied on for the artwork on these pieces?
This is Puma, Ron Puma. You see a signature right there and dates.
That's who you've been dealing with for the most
Ron
part?
Puma he's an interesting story too. And they say there's a talent in finding talent. He's a guy that was on the internet that I used to see. He's in my feed because he was a fan of mine from 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Just buying on hip hop shit.
Yeah.
But I noticed him on Instagram back in like 2018 maybe.
Right.
And I said, yo, this dude is doing paintings in a day.
Yeah.
He doing this type of shit. He have a sketch done in like a day or two.
Right.
And I was like, yo, nobody using him for anything?
Yeah.
Wow. And I hit him up and I said, yo, the Buze Brothers want to do a record and they want you to do the cover. They didn't know about it. I'm just telling him, gassing him a little bit like, yo,
Yeah.
I want to give you the opportunity.
Yeah.
So we sent him City of God. Yo, when I tell you he did that painting in 2 or 3 days
Yeah.
and got it back. So he had a sketch in 24 hours for the cover.
Right.
And 3 days later, he had the whole cover done. And nobody could believe that it was that good and that quick.
Yeah.
So since then, he's been doing these for us.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, this is him right here on the horse. That's Clever One, that's him low, Grand Scheme, and that's me.
Right. Dope.
So, and this is the newest one he did for us. Him low, shorter, analog bastard, Grand Architect.
Yeah. Shout out to Low.
These are paintings.
Yeah. Those are crazy. Crazy.
So art is 360 for us, man. And people don't value the art. And we black men in America, we don't own this culture.
Right.
So that's another thing I wanted to enforce was, yo, you could be a black man in America controlling this culture.
Yeah.
That's what I'm really strong on as well. Is like, yo, we created this culture. we should be able to control it, distribute it, and dictate it.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm big on, and I try to encourage others like us to say, yo, if you got talent, man, do it yourself.
No doubt. Tell me about this record that you got with these dope features, the one, your joint.
This was what established me with the current record press that I got. This was a record that I A&R'd by myself. So all the features I got by myself. This was my run through to kind of learn the ins and outs more on dealing with vinyl by myself.
Right.
I reached out to him Low, of course. I got Roc Marciano on here. I got my man Billy Woods on here, who's blowing up now. I got Vaughn Omega from a group called Cannibal Ox on here. They was big. They was on LP's label 20 years ago.
Right.
And I basically got this one producer named Prospect, and I said, I'm gonna work on doing a record so I know how to do it for other people.
No doubt.
So this was an experiment. I didn't even really push this record like that.
Right.
I pressed it up. I sold enough to Fat Beats to recoup it.
Yeah.
I sold some on Bandcamp. I got my money back, and then I moved on to saying, all right, I know how to do it now. I can do it for others.
No doubt.
So this record wasn't like, hey, look at me. I'm an MC. I can rhyme. I'm nice, this and that.
Yeah.
My ego been filled for 20-something years, bro. This was basically something I did to say, this is how I'm going to learn how to do it
Right.
for other people.
Right.
Now, I got these features back in like 2017.
Right.
So Roc Marciano's in a totally different space now. Billy Woods is in a different space. And it's about having that foresight.
Did you, excellent foresight, by the way. Did you,
Well, I come from the street, rhyming on the streets.
yeah.
So,
Did you suspect Roc Marci to grow into an underground deity the way he is now?
it didn't matter because I don't look at that shit like that.
Yeah.
I liked Roc Marciano. First time I heard him was 1997. He had a song called The Prophet with this other dude that I'd heard. It took me 10 years to find out who the MC was. Nobody could tell me because he was that underground. Even though he was rhyming with like Busta Rhymes in them back in 99, his style may have been different or whatever. But I had that on the tape. You know, I used to listen to the radio and just tape it.
Yeah.
And that would be your mixtape.
Yeah.
I heard that song and I said, yo, this man said, collect my thoughts. My mind moves at warp speed. I said, yo, and that whole verse, I said, that's a quotable verse. Whoever this nigga is nice like that.
Yeah.
And you coming from Philly and the streets, you know you had to be nice.
Facts.
It was some of the greatest artists, MCs, that you'll never hear of because they dead, they locked up, they never got a shot. But on the block, they was immortals.
Yeah.
They would levitate. They were so powerful. I'm from rhyme ciphers that used to last 3 hours. With people going around and around and around until they literally was off the ground.
No doubt.
So we got that innate thing where I hear talent. I don't look at where your position or status or clout is. I worked with Action Bronson in 2010. He didn't blow up till like 2012, 2013, really.
Yeah.
But I seen the incline. I was like, yo, this kid is nice. And he threw me the love. Mayhem Lorenz, same thing. When these cats, I was just seeing because I used to write for Combat Jack, Dallas Penn, cats like that. When I first getting online and I'm seeing like, yo, these is bloggers and I'm not even knowing what they was, but I'm a writer.
Right.
So Combat Jack embraced me back then. Dallas Penn embraced me back then. Let me write for their websites and shit. And through them, I'm getting more acquainted with the New York underground at that time. So I have a foresight for a lot of things, man.
Yeah.
The vinyl game too. Wasn't a lot of people pressing up records for themselves in 2016.
Yeah.
And saying, yo, I want to start an imprint to help artists.
Right.
Or doing it to where ain't no contracts. It's handshake shit. I'm gonna press up 200 records. I'm gonna recoup. I'm gonna give you the rest of the bread, and we're gonna move to the next one, and the next one, and the next one. So I've done that, and people have been happy with it, man.
How you feel about watching other MCs from the underground turn into entrepreneurs? Like I said, my office is filled with vinyls now. Ason Eastwood got them. I believe Rome Streets probably got them. The opioid era has them. There's a lot of guys getting busy with the vinyl now and getting actual money overseas.
My first jacket, my mother had to knit that shit for me. I come from nothing. I come from Spain, fucking cheese and crackers, sardines.
Yeah.
I literally come from nothing. Move building wasn't far from when they bombed the Move people.
I remember that.
remember the smoke. So I come from a very rough period. Sneakers on the wire.
Yeah.
I used to get punched in my jaw at 5 years old walking down my block. That's why I learned to never back down from a bully. But I also love black culture. And I want to see us win because I know what's inside us.
Yeah.
I'm not saying we gods and herbs and this and that because I'm non-religious. I've read the Tabernacle scriptures. I've read 5% doctrine. You know, I've read Christian. I've read Jewish shit, the Kabbalah, all of that.
Right.
I'm a spiritual person. And I know what's in us and why they try to hold us as black people back.
Yeah.
So when I see the brothers getting off and doing for self and pushing forward, I don't feel no jealousy. I feel like, yo, this inspires us. My job is to inspire people and say, yo, these people don't have to own our culture. We can own this shit. So when I see people picking up and saying, yo, I'm inspired. I want to press up my vinyl. I want to make t-shirts. I want to do this and that. Good. We need more of us controlling our culture and controlling our ideas and not selling to people.
Right, no doubt. For those who want to go online and check out your library of albums, tell them where they can find you at.
Grilchyparty.bandcamp.com or just Google it. A lot of stuff is sold out and reselling, and some of the shit reselling for $200-300.
Yeah.
I'm doing shit for the future. I got a little seed. He's 10 next week.
Yeah.
He don't understand all the way what's going on. He helps me package up this vinyl.
No doubt.
And I give him a couple of dollars like, yo, he's been doing that since he was 6.
Yeah.
Just putting stuff in the packages and helping me ship them out.
Yeah.
I do this for him to look back on 20 years from now and say, yo, my pop was doing some fly shit.
Yeah.
We're not gonna be here forever.
No
I'm
doubt.
not concerned with now. Women, all that shit. Yo, man, I've been had pretty women. Women, unless they inspire me or I look at them like a piece of art, I don't have no dealings with them. Same thing with rappers. Rappers don't move me at all. Nobody. I don't care who's new and whatever. By the time they knew and they didn't phased out and fizzled out and moved to the next thing, you don't even miss them.
True
I do
story.
this shit for the future.
True story. Mark, I appreciate you, man.
And I appreciate you, man, because listen, there ain't many of us in this space that's actually pushing us.
Yeah.
You say it all the time, K. Slade. He shouldn't have been the only tastemaker.
No doubt.
Too many people are too focused on themselves without realizing that if you can push people forward, that'll push you forward.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm at. My ego been filled for 20-something years. I don't need nothing. I need less. So if I can push these artists forward,
Yeah.
that's my legacy right there.
Keep up the great work. I appreciate you.
No doubt.
My man. So Billy Woods is being recognized for his work in the underground?
Billy Woods is my man, and I remember when people was laughing at him and telling him he was whack back like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
But through persistence and dedication to the craft, he managed to surpass all of them. So the people that was laughing at him, they not even around no more.
Yeah.
And
How about that?
yeah, and now he's doing records with The Alchemist, being name dropped by Mos Def, and really shining. Like he's a prime example of this culture and the American story, because he's a dude he came from Africa.
Right.
As a kid and developed it, and off of his words and his ideas and his rhymes, it elevated him to a stature where he's touring the world, making money and being name dropped, and he's in the New York Times and Rolling Stone and all these other places being called the greatest rapper out right now.
No doubt.
So the fact that that's my man, and I said, yo, I don't need anything from him other than I got this talent with Matthew and Wino, and you have a huge platform. Help me push them to a different space.
No doubt.
So Backwoods Studios, which is his label, and Grilchy Party are collaborating on this album that's dropping next month. I'll play you a joint from it. And I'll play you a couple joints because the album is only 30 minutes, 25 minutes or whatever.
Yeah.
But I want to give you a taste of like, yo, this is what I'm saying. I'm not speaking lightly that this kid has a talent that can't be surpassed by niggas that's trying to rap. You know, a lot of people just trying to rhyme words and shit. He not just rhyming words. It's a depth to it.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna play this shit for you from Matthew and produced by Wino Willy. And this shit, I feel like, yo, I could hang it up really after this shit. I don't have to do this forever.
Everything is written, yo. Everything is ours. Got a shooter and a demon, not a devil but a god. At Sydney's house with aunties, only money's a facade. That nigga shot my cousin and that stupid nigga died. 57, I'm a star, definitely with a ride. And it's fire when it's coming out like Maya still I rise. Pay 500 for the quarter ounce, I nickel that Minaj. Bobby got that water out, his life is a disguise. They said they want line us. First they got slide. Your block hotel Rwanda and somebody mama cry. I always talk my shit, but I be quiet when I'm high. Got an iron on my side, I'm a giant in my eyes. Cruising through apartheid, the thing that's on my hip get probably part ties. Don't see nobody crying when the shark dies. Hoes set you up so I don't never trust no hard eyes. Lately I've been wildin', feeling brolic, young Barda. Watch who you be calling divine. I got a 45 that's chopping if you drawing on mine. I'm aggressive with this money, that's for all of the guys. And I knew you was a snake, I saw it all in your eyes. Marcelli, if you call it design. Fuck my bitch and acapella happens all of the time. If they never knew you did it, can you call it a crime? I be posted with my niggas, we manipulate time. Watch who you be calling divine. I got a 45 that's chopping if you drawing on mine. I'm aggressive with this money, that's for all of the guys. And I knew you was a snake, I saw it all in your eyes. Marcelli, if you call it design. Fuck my bitch and acapella happens all of the time. If they never know you did it, can you call it a crime? I be posted with my niggas, I manipulate time.
That's one joint. I'll play you something else real quick too. Let's skip through it.
Always been a fly nigga, ain't nothing staining me. Posted with the demons and the motherfucking angels. Me stopped all five and started praying to a better me. My nigga all violence, he would trap another better means. Fuck the cops, heard them niggas taped it off and let it bleed. Fuck his block, ain't fucking with his energy, I let it breathe. Backwood hit so hard like a pedigree. My bitch fighting, she smart, perfect medley. We linked at the booty club, the safest place, don't trust the plug. Racks off the latest game, we'll grind it through that 50 up. I ain't paid a lawyer cause that nigga not defending much. Highway to hell raising hell big with drugs. Pastor got them ties at the strip, he's throwing money up. Man, he got that fire on his hip, and you don't wanna run. Posted in the underworld and thinking of becoming one. Everybody lies, everybody cries, okay. Everybody dies, building our design. I don't need no reinsurance just to feel like I'm alive. When I first was 50K, a nigga felt like I was flying. I didn't enter space, the rooms are building mansions in my mind. After loading up this K, it's so romantic when I slide. Had to sober up, my blood starts to panic when I'm fried. Ain't no both of us, it's only me, I'm doing with no posse. 227's big as fuck, they made to catch a body. I don't got a bit of trust, don't play me like you got me. Never has a nigga been complacent with a loss. Niggas ain't that super when that rumor going off.
Another joint, no doubt. I'ma play this joint that really, I think niggas really gonna fuck with because it's a different joint. Not any rappers is doing shit like this right now.
My mom and pop's beefing again, and she not speaking to me. Guess I remind her of him. Tiffany's my excuse for silver lining the shit. And my son to rule the sky, he designed for the shit. I told my daughter stay make anything possible. I can conjure spells that really ain't logical. Blood, bled, tears shed, doing what I gotta do. Cause you living dead if life don't beat the shit out of you. Welcome to my chronicles. When is when they realize you don't gotta lose. Niggas fuck with me cause every bar powerful.
What up, man? Yo, what up? It's Killer Priest, man. Almighty Wu-Tang, man. Gully TV, what's good?
Yo, this week's the Lost Cause live and direct from LA out on the west side. Shout out to Gully TV, man. Project Load, the whole crew, man. Love, yo.
For all your advertising, networking, and promo, make sure you reach out. GullyTVBoss@gmail.com. GullyTVBoss@gmail.com for all your marketing and promo. Peace.